Okay. Alright, Sivers.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Lore of League of
brother.
Legends.
Let's go, brother.
In this episode, we're going to be covering a renowned fortune hunter and mercenary captain who plies her trade within the deserts of Shurima. Without further ado, I present to you the updated lore of Siva, the battle mistress. Enjoy. Siva learned firsthand the harsh lessons of desert life when her entire family was killed by marauding Cathayans, one of Shurima's most feared raider tribes. In the weeks and months after the massacre, she survived by stealing food from local markets and exploring deserted ruins in search of trinkets to sell. Most of the ruins had long since been picked clean by thieves, but Siva excelled at unearthing treasures others had missed. With her keen eye and relentless determination, she exposed secret passageways, solved ancient puzzles to reveal hidden catacombs, and dodged perilous traps. Occasionally, she persuaded other children to help her plunder tombs that would be impossible to loot alone. Armed with no more than coils of rope and candles, the malnourished waifs would descend into the cramped tunnels beneath the ruins in search of anything worth selling. One day, Siva and her compatriots ventured deep into a secret tomb she swore was filled with riches beyond imagining. After many hours of exploration, they finally discovered a hidden doorway, but were crushed to find nothing more than an empty chamber. Enraged at their wasted effort, Mira, Siva's oldest companion, demanded she forfeit her role as leader. Siva refused, and a vicious fight ensued. Mira was larger and stronger and quickly overpowered Siva before pushing her off a ledge.
Okay, but like, seriously? Damn.
Hours later,
Look at her.
Siva awoke in the dark, fighting back
She a
panicked.
princess?
She retraced her steps, blind and feeling her way slowly back to daylight. Once she returned to her lair, she found her treacherous friend had fled, taking everything Siva owned with her. Siva swore she would never allow herself to be betrayed again. Determined to learn to defend herself, she joined a band of sellswords led by the legendary Iha Zaharo, serving as a weapon carrier, navigator and dog's body for the belligerent mercenaries. For years, Siva slept with a dagger tucked under her blanket. She placed no trust in Zaharo's warriors, knowing their only loyalty was to coin, but she strived to learn all she could. Siva trained to fight, practicing with staunch determination and sparring against the younger sellswords daily. Siva's unwavering dedication and swift-growing skill caught the eye of Zaharo herself, who took Siva under her wing, an honour few received. Over the years, Siva became a formidable warrior, and as Iha's sergeant, she fought against numerous armies, raiders and warring tribes. When the wars ended and the mercenaries struggled to find paying work, Siva led expeditions into the ruins in search of Shurima's lost treasures. Eventually, Siva tired of living in Zaharo's shadow. The domineering leader took the greatest share of the gold and all the glory, though it was Siva's knowledge of Shuriman tombs that brought them much of their wealth. Worse, Zaharo refused to fight for warlords whose reputation for cruelty were at odds with her martial code of honor.
God damn,
but to
bro,
Siva,
what is
gold
that?
was gold. No matter how bloody the hands that paid it, morals played no part in the transaction. Many of the mercenaries agreed with Siva and plotted with her to replace Zaharo as leader. The night before their coup, Zaharo learned of their plan. Outraged, she struck first, planning to turn her blade on her former student as she slept.
Damn.
Siva had expected such an attack and defeated Zaharo in a vicious knife brawl. Nevertheless, she was surprised to find she couldn't kill her former mentor, remembering how Zaharo had taken her in when she was no more than a bitter girl with nothing to her name. Instead, she left Zaharo alone in the desert with a half-filled water skin, a single coin, and a hollow offer of good luck. Siva's warband quickly earned a fearsome reputation as warriors of renown, and
it's like always a self-fulfilling prophecy with people who got betrayed. It's like girls who date guys who cheat, and they always, for some reason, date guys who cheat. It's like, I will never allow myself to be cheated on again. Yeah, okay, bitch. Like, next guy you're dating is cheating on you 100% of the time, okay? Like, there's no fucking way. So it's like, same with Siva. It's like, I will never let myself be betrayed again. Like, self-fulfilling prophecy. You're gonna get betrayed.
explorers who could find relics
Well,
that had
that one
passed
she was
into
also the
legend.
betrayer, but yeah.
Desert barons, wealthy merchants, and collectors of the arcane commissioned Sivir to fight their wars or recover rare hidden treasures. Explorers willingly paid Sivir's high price for her skill in traversing dangerous territories and navigating the ancient ruins of
Bro,
Shur.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to date a cosplayer because they're always way hotter when they cosplay than in reality. So it's like I would date a cosplayer chick, and then it's like every time we would like hang out, I'll be like, yeah, you better be in a cosplay. I cannot see you outside of a cosplay. It's like, can you dress up? Can you dress like this Sivir over here? Like, can you please? Yeah, thank you.
In the ancient ruins of Shurima. Ruling chieftains hired her company to defend their lands against raiding Noxians, while warlords procured their services early in their campaigns to ensure a swift victory.
And this would also be a nice cosplay for us.
In the year of 1,000 storms, the lord of an ancient Shuriman city known as Nashrame hired Sivir to seek a unique cross-shaped blade he claimed was a lost heirloom. He sent his personal guards along with her to guarantee its retrieval, and after a search that lasted many months, Sivir finally located the weapon. She pried it from the sarcophagus of a long-forgotten hero buried beneath tons of collapsed rubble, with a strange sense that her entire life had been leading up to this moment. The weapon shone with gold and emeralds, and though it was ancient, its edge was as sharp as if it had been forged that day. Sivir was transfixed by the crossblade, feeling as if it had been waiting for her. When the captain of the Nashrame guard demanded they return to their lord with his prize, Sivir knew she could never give it up. Sivir threw the crossblade in a curved arc and marvelled as it decapitated not only the captain, but the 3 men behind him before returning to her hand.
I mean, the story part is also oh shit, but like, if I'm ever dating a cosplayer, she's definitely dressing up as Sivir.
Never had a weapon felt so natural in her grip, so powerful to throw. She fought her way from the tomb to emerge triumphant with the Lord of Nashrame's men dead behind her.
Man, League of Legends is so sexist though. Look at all the girls, man. So much cleavage. Oh my god, they must be all rapists in there. If this game was made by WoW, oh my god, I wouldn't be surprised. You know?
Tales of Sivir's exploits and ferocity in battle were already well known within Shurima.
By Blizzard, but yeah.
But as her legend grew, her reputation spread beyond even the desert sands. In Noxus, stories of her deeds reached the ears of Cassiopeia, an ambitious noblewoman who desired a relic she believed was hidden in the heart of the desert. Cassiopeia had no shortage of coin, and hired Sivir as her guide to plunder the depths of the long-lost capital of Shurima. Though she instinctively distrusted Cassiopeia, Sivir was not about to dismiss such a profitable expedition. As they plunged deeper into the twisting catacombs of the buried city, many of Sivir's mercenaries were killed by a slew of deadly traps, but Cassiopeia refused to turn back. After days of endless descent into darkness, Sivir and Cassiopeia finally reached a great bas-relief depicting ancient emperors and ascended warriors with bestial heads. Most of the buried structures they had seen were shattered from millennia spent beneath the sands, but this wall was uncannily intact. Sivir felt her blood stir as she gazed at the carvings, mesmerised by a creeping sense of recognition.
Is this the original Sivir skin? It feels like it might be. The original, like, art. I think it was something like that.
In that moment of inattention, her
Also
fate
looked
was sealed.
dated.
Taking advantage of Sivir's distraction, Cassiopeia stepped in close and rammed a blade through her back.
Bitch.
Sivir collapsed in agony, her lifeblood soaking into the sand. Cassiopeia pried Sivir's crossblade from her grasp as her senses dimmed like a guttering candle. As warmth faded from her body, death closed in.
Nope.
But fate was not yet done with Sivir. As her lifeblood drained, her ancestor, the long-dead Emperor Azir, was resurrected by the echoes of royalty within her blood. He carried her body to the Oasis of the Dawn, a sacred pool once brimming with healing waters. Bone dry for thousands of years, it now overflowed with crystal water at Azir's presence. The healing waters enveloped Sivir's body, miraculously undoing the fatal wound dealt to her by Cassiopeia. With a laboured gasp, Sivir opened her eyes, dazed and uncomprehending, as if dragged from a dream. A vaguely familiar face looked down at her with kindness, and Sivir blinked, unsure if she was alive or dead. All around her, spirals of dust whirled hundreds of feet in the air, forming towering palaces, ornate temples and expansive plazas. The ancient city of Shurima rose from its sandy grave in all its glory and splendor, crowned by an enormous golden disc shining brighter than the noonday sun.
Jesus Christ.
With Azir's return, the ancient city was restored to its former majesty. Sivir had grown up hearing tales of the legendary Ascended, but thought only children and fools believed in such fantasy. Surrounded by a city that stone by stone restored itself from nothing, and confronted by a long-dead emperor who spoke of his enduring bloodline and vision of a reborn kingdom, Sivir was shaken to her core. Everything she had ever believed was cast into doubt. With his words still ringing in her ears, she retreated to her life as a mercenary, taking solace in the everyday realities of fighting for coin. She struggled to accept she might be the heir to a forgotten empire, and tried to put such thoughts out of her mind.
How's she fighting?
Even if everything Azir said were true, she was sure no one would unite the disparate tribes of Shurima. The most powerful warlords could command small territories for a time with enough gold and warriors, but the land would never rally beneath a single banner, let alone bow to one man, even if he truly was an ancient emperor. As Azir strives to re-establish his once mighty empire, Sivir is tormented by increasing doubts as to whether she can fully return to her former life. Looming forces encroach upon her world, and for better or worse, fate has given her a second chance at life. Now she must choose her path and forge a new legacy.
Here's the thing, it's like, if you believe in fate, then it's like you can be like, well, fate gave me another chance at life, I'll do better as a mercenary. Or you can be like, well, maybe fate is showing me that's like, bro, I'm like a fucking, you know, like, and I have the blood of an emperor, you know, all that shit. It's like, maybe that's my path, right? So it's like, what is fate trying to show you? It's like, it's such a confusing time, you know, if you believe in fate, that is, you know. But yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty cool though. Da, da, da.
And that's all.
I just want to hear the music. And yeah, that's it for Sivir. No, it's not. There's Sivir Extended. Water. What is this? This is about the...
Sivir's throat felt like it was coated in a layer of broken glass. The cracked flesh on her lips burned. Her eyes refused to focus. I've given them more than enough time to move on. She leaned around the edge of the boulder. The caravan was still at
this is the original Sivir art, probably. Not the one I thought.
Spring and showing no signs of moving on. Why did they have to...
Girl does her leg extensions. Holy fuck.
The Cathayans. Of the many, many tribes that want her dead, the Cathayans stood out in their persistence. Sivir scanned the tribesmen again, looking for any sign the caravan might climb out of the old riverbed and continue its journey. She rolled her shoulders and tried to judge if the muscles were up to fighting a half-dozen men. She'd have to take them by surprise to stand a chance. That prissy Noxon got the drop on me. Sivir shook her head, trying to clear her mind. Now wasn't the time for those thoughts. I'm becoming scattered from any lack of water. Why didn't I bring more water? The city had been bursting with it. Huge streams poured from statues, all at the command of an ancient. He healed my wound and saved my life. Then he returned to rebuilding the temples around him, calling out strange words in an old dialect she could barely make sense of. Talking to himself in a dead city filled only with sand. I had to get out before the sorcerer decided to sink it all back beneath the dust, or that I owed him. Swallowing brought fresh agony to Sivir's throat. She looked at the spring again, a simple puddle of brown water in the centre of the caravan. I've given them a day, she reasoned. I will die or they will die. For a few drops of water or a few slivers of gold. That is the way of the desert. Sprinting toward the first guard, she readied her crossblade. Would there be enough time to reach him before he turned around? She counted the distance. 14 strides. 12. 10. He can't make a sound. 2 strides. She jumped. Her blade sank completely through his neck, down into his shoulder. Blood erupted as she crashed down on him. Her momentum drove them behind the line of rocks on which he'd been standing. Siva grabbed his arms. He struggled against her, refusing to accept he was already dead. The guard's blood drenched Siva as he took a final gurgling breath. This man didn't need to die. Siva thought again of Cassiopeia's blade. That Noxian bitch sunk a blade in my back.
Yep.
I died.
Yep.
That should mean something.
Nope.
A distant rumble sounded.
You're
Horses,
stupid.
a sand wall collapsing. There wasn't time to wonder what it meant. Siva crawled across the hard stones. It won't take the rest of the caravan long to notice the guard's absence. The next target was moving high along the ridgeline. She needed to hit him before he walked away from the ledge. The shot has to be perfect. She threw the crossblade. It hit the second guard, cutting him in half. The flying blade arced upward, but as it reached its apex, it slowed before reversing its direction. As it flew back toward her, it clipped the neck of a third man. There wouldn't be time for another throw now. The blade completed its arc, flying down toward the centre of the water. She only had to reach it in time.
Goddamn,
the maneuver was an old standby. She would catch the weapon and kill the 3 remaining men in a single spinning somersault. But as she ran, her feet became heavy, and it seemed impossible to draw enough air into her pained lungs. 30 strides. She had to make the distance before the second man's body hit the ground. 20 strides. The muscles in her legs cramped, refusing to obey her commands. 15 strides. She found herself sliding, stumbling. No, not yet. Then, sooner than she had expected, the second man's body completed its fall and impacted the rocks. The sound was impossible to miss. One mistake was enough. The Cathayans were a desert people. The remaining guards had weapons drawn before she took another step. Her crossblade hit the water between the men and her, 5 strides in front of them, 10 strides from her. I could make it. Every reflex in Siva's body willed her forward. Instead, she slid to a halt, nearly falling forward. Failing to bring enough water, waiting too long to attack, misjudging distances. I don't make these mistakes. Why? Some other part of Siva's mind answered. She remembered the moment after Cassiopeia's dagger had pierced her back. She couldn't feel the blade itself. Instead, she felt a sudden, unexpected weight that seemed to steal her breath and crush her lungs. I killed 3 of you before you heard me, Siva coughed. You don't have a weapon, the largest of the Cathayans said. Only because I didn't want your blood in the water, she lied. The 3 men exchanged glances. They've recognized me. A year ago I killed your chieftain and 24 of your finest for a bag of thin gold.
Oh.
It was a cheap price for their lives. She met the 3 men's eyes. They were spreading out from the water, attempting to flank her. The gold I earned from killing your chieftain and kinsman, she asked. I gambled it away in a single evening. We will avenge them and your insult, the largest man responded. I shouldn't have killed them, she said. Not for that gold. Don't make me kill you for a few cups of water. The Cathayan's leader nervously adjusted the grip on his weapon. I'm telling you I can make it to the blade before you can act, Siva explained. And if I run for my blade, you will die, she indicated the foul brown water. Your lives are worth more than that. Then we will die with honour, the largest man decided, though his fellows seemed less certain.
There's no
Then I need that weapon to kill the 20 men you want to avenge, Siva warned. You are too few. The 3 men hesitated. They knew Siva's reputation. The other 2 pulled the largest man away before backing to their mounts. Siva edged toward the water. We will return with our tribesmen for vengeance. Lots of people had tried that, she said. Never worked out for them. Siva rolled her swollen tongue against the top of her mouth, desperate for relief. Every part of her wanted to kneel down to the water and drink. I have to wait until they cross the far dune. As the men climbed into their saddles and rode away, the strange rumbling sounded again. It was loud and growing louder. It's not horses or shifting sands. Siva turned to its source and watched as a 3-foot wall of blue water rushed down the ancient riverbed, the water from the city. The moment before the water hit Siva, she felt the rush of cold, damp air in front of the flood. It shocked her like an unexpected kiss. The first wave nearly took out her knees. The impact stung with cold, but as it enveloped her waist and legs, it became soothingly cool. Siva laid in the water, letting it wash.
What an interesting saying. my god. How do you say it again?
Took out her knees. The impact
No,
stunned her.
no.
The moment before the water hit Siva, she felt the rush of cold, damp air in front of the flood. It shocked her like an unexpected kiss.
It shocked her like an unexpected kiss. We call it rape in 2022, just saying.
The first wave nearly took out her knees. The impact stung with cold, but as it enveloped her waist and legs, it became soothingly cool. Siva laid in the water,
Sexual
letting
assault.
it wash over her. She could feel the painful grit of the desert washing away as her head floated weightless and free. I was dead. I must make that mean something.
True.
Oh.
Alright. That was Severe. Now, what else we got going here? Talia Echoes. Okay, so double Talia next. Alright. Where you go next?